Judges chapter 6, verse 12. Judges 6:12 is a great story. I'll just do the paraphrase. You can read all the verses to go with it. Gideon is a young man of God. His whole country has turned their back on God because Israel turned their back on God. The enemy has invaded, and they've taken away everything. They've kicked them out of the houses, off their land, and they're hiding up in the hills. What are you doing? Well, I'm hiding here in this cave. Why? Well, because the enemy came in and kicked me out of my house. They whipped our army, and we've been defeated. And among this family is Gideon. You know, he's the youngest of a big family. He's hiding in a hole right outside the cave. He's gathered some wheat, just wild grains of wheat. He's got them in the hole. He's stomping on them, trying to stomp enough wheat to make enough flour to make a biscuit and eat it so he doesn't starve to death. God sends an angel to Gideon. The angel lands next to the hole, and he yells into the hole. Now, I'm giving this out of the Message translation. It's kind of liberal, but it's in the Bible. And the angel yells in the hole. Gideon's down there hiding, looking up, make sure nobody's looking, because the enemy's everywhere. He's just trying to survive. He's not trying to do anything. He's just trying to survive. And most of our country's in a survival. I mean, I hope I don't get laid off. I hope I don't get sick and die. I hope something bad doesn't happen. You're not going to, trust me, it's going to happen. The devil's a thief. He's coming at you. Your job is to get back up if you get knocked down. Whatever's stole from you, you're supposed to get back 7 times. You got to get aggressive. Just because something bad happens doesn't mean God didn't like you. There's the devil trying to steal from him. If the devil messed with Jesus and he didn't sin, he's going to mess with me. My job is to resist him. My job is to be more than a conqueror and an overcomer. That's why I love reading those stories about all those men that overcame great odds and became famous. If unbelievers do it, a Christian surely ought to do it. So the angel lands next to Gideon and he yells at him, the Bible says. He yelled down in the hole, says, "Hello, you mighty men of courage." And it shocked, you know, because he's trying to make sure nobody's looking. And all of a sudden, this guy in the big sheet says, "Hello, you mighty men of courage." And Gideon starts yelling. Now, you got to read it. It's in the King James really good, too. Shh. He said, "What? There's no mighty men down here." And the angel says again, "Hello, you mighty men of courage." It's like, shh. Man, be quiet. He said, there's no mighty men of courage down here. You made a wrong turn coming out of heaven. There are no mighty men down here. And finally, Gideon says, and it's in, you read it in Judges 6, he talks to the angel. "I'm no mighty man of courage. My name's Gideon. I am the youngest member of my family. My family's the poorest of my tribe. My tribe's the wimpest of the 12. Of the 12, we've all wimped out. I'm in this hole because I'm starving to death." I try to imagine a CNN camel crew showing up. And jump on with, "Hey, kid, what's happening here?" You know, CNN's first everywhere. What's going on? And getting out of his own mission. "My name's Gideon. So I'm the youngest member of my family. My family's the wimpest. My tribe's the wimpest of the 12. Of the 12, we've all wimped out. I'm in the hole, starving to death, trying to get me a biscuit. And the nut in the white sheet keeps calling me a mighty man of courage." Now I have a whole 2-hour seminar on this. I'm just giving it to you in about 2 minutes here. God sent an angel to call Gideon what he was going to become, not what he was. He was a wimp hiding in a hole. God sent an angel from heaven to say, "I'm going to call you what you're going to become, not what you are." We don't need newspaper editors from hell in our homes. We need somebody to wax prophetic. Here's what God says you are. I'm not going to tell you what you are. You know what you are. But let me tell you what God says you are. You're going to be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. Everything you set your hand to is going to prosper. God's going to surround you with a shield of divine favor. People are going to like you and not even know why. And all of a sudden you think, what is it? I'm saying what God says. If I just read a proverb over you every day, you'll be 10 times taller and better than everybody else. And if you read about Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, God sort of had a pattern. Daniel was a prisoner in a foreign country. His country's been whipped. He's been made a slave. He's in a foreign country under a horrible king, Nebuchadnezzar, who used to dip people in tar and light them up and burn them all night, just to light up his courtyard. This is one skanky king. And they know what's going to happen. We've been taken prisoner. We're going to die. But God sends a messenger to Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and says, "Here, I got a word from you from the prophet of God." And they stick a piece of scroll through a prison wall and they read it. And here's what God says. Jeremiah the prophet sent a word to young men whose families are dead, their houses are burnt down, they're a prisoner in a foreign country. Hell has stomped them into the dirt. But here's what God says. I have a word for you. "Build ye houses, dwell in them, plant a garden, eat the fruit, find your girlfriend, get married, have some babies, train up your babies. And then pray for the peace of the city I've caused you to be carried away captive to. For in the peace thereof you shall have peace. And it goes on the whole letter. You're not coming home for 70 years, so start getting alive. So the Bible says only 4 of all those teenage boys that have been taken prisoner did that. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego began to think different. They're in prison. Our families are dead. We've been made a prisoner. All of a sudden, I can just imagine them looking out the prison wall one day. Daniel said, here, Shadrach, come here a minute. And he said, see that hill over there? He said, yeah, that's where I'm going to build my house. Where are you going to build your house? I don't know. I like the hill on the other side. That'd be good. We can wave at each other. You build your house on that hill, I'll build my house on that hill. Hey, you see that dark-haired gal right there? Which one? No, right there. She just went by. See her? Yeah. No, wait a minute. Yeah, there she is. Yeah. That's the one I'm marrying when I get out of here. Who are you going to marry? I don't know. I like that other gal right there with the short hair. I'm going to marry her right there. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Okay, let's do that. 4 boys who are in prison, families dead, country whipped. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. What are you thinking? What God just told me to think. I'm coming out. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to plant a garden. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have babies. Nobody else in that prison either didn't read that scroll or didn't believe that scroll. They're trying to hang themselves from the ceiling. Oh my God, they're going to dip us in heart. They're going to cut our eyeballs out. They're going to run our heart. Oh. Because I've ministered in prison a lot. Prison will either kill you or it'll make you so mean, hell itself's probably afraid of you. It boosts you one way or the other. But you can't believe what a revival's going on in prison because some people go find in God. They chase it. What's going on? Hell's landed and I got to find a way out. What your child believes about themselves is critical. But if you're not teaching them on a regular basis, it can't be, hey, sit down and talk to you for 5 minutes. No, Deuteronomy 6. Talking verse 9, you start reading, God says, I want you to talk to your children when you get up, walk by the way, sit down and lie down. What's he saying? You better be talking to your kids 24 hours a day.